With Andre Ward's recent retirement from the sport of boxing, him previously taking the mantle of the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, after obviously Floyd Mayweather retired from his spot in the sport. A lot of people have been wondering within the sport of boxing who is now the number one, considered the number one elite pound for pound fighter in the sport. So in my opinion, in previous videos I've mentioned that one fighter that I believe is the best fighter in the sport, who apart from Andre Ward being number one, is obviously Terence Crawford. Now Terence Crawford is in a position, he's unified the light welterweight division. He's obviously beat Ondongo to win 2 of the other belts, and he beat a slew of other elite competition like Felix Diaz, obviously Ricky Burns, who's going to fight Anthony Corolla soon. He's beaten quite a few fighters in the sport, and in my opinion, he is the number 2 pound. He's the right now, with Andre Ward retiring from the sport of boxing, he is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. Many people may disagree with my opinion. They may think that he still has some way to go to get to that position, and in some sense, I believe that even though he hasn't 100% solidified his position, in my opinion, with everything that he's accomplished so far and his skill set within the sport and his resume so far, he is, in my opinion, the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. Now, if he was to go up to welterweight and fight the Keith Thurmans, the Errol Spence, Kell Brook to a sense, if he wants to come back, and if he was to beat them elite welterweight fighters with his skill set, which is more than likely, he can more than likely do that, then he may go on to further solidify his position as the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. Now, obviously, you recently had the Golovkin versus Canelo fight. In my opinion, the draw wasn't as controversial a decision as many people have made out to be. A lot of people were thinking that before the fight that Canelo will get destroyed by Golovkin because he's too flat-footed. He doesn't move enough. But after the fight, them same fans that were complaining about, that were lamenting Canelo's chance of winning that fight because of his flat-footed nature within the sport, were the same people complaining about him dancing around the ring too much. So I feel like the result of the Golovkin versus Canelo fight is too inconclusive. There's many people that may have thought that Golovkin did enough to win because he was pressuring, but you can't forgive the fact that Canelo is obviously was landing cleaner punches and was even though he was on a back foot, it seemed like he was dictating the pace of the fight with his movement. So because of that, the result of that fight being so inconclusive, you can't 100% say who's the better fighter between the two until they have the rematch, and that rematch may happen next year. Both Golovkin and Canelo have had the last few fights have been, for Golovkin especially, he's had quite a few punishing fights. Obviously he fought Kell Brook, which is, many people may think that Kell Brook didn't damage him in that fight, but he did land a few tough shots, and obviously he had a very tough fight against Danny Jacobs, and many people thought he lost that fight against Danny Jacobs. But obviously Canelo, the last few fights, you may say the Chavez fight was extremely easy, and in some sense you're right, but he's had back-to-back training camps, so both of these elite fighters need a bit of a rest. As soon as obviously we've got another super fight coming up between Vasyl Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. That's going to happen in December 9th. Now, in my opinion, the winner of that fight could be seen as a legitimately being the top pound for pound fight on the planet, depending on their performance. If Rigondeaux was to completely wipe the floor with Lomachenko, then it's going to be very difficult to deny his position as the top pound for pound fighter on the planet, and vice versa. If Lomachenko, despite Rigondeaux's age and obviously him coming up 2 weight classes, if he was to beat Rigondeaux quite easily, then you could make the case that dependent upon his skill set alone, that he is one of the best fighters on the planet. But obviously this is very contingent upon them actually upon the performances that both of them give, because obviously at this moment in time the fight hasn't happened, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But at this moment in time, in my opinion, Terence Crawford is the number 1 pound for pound fighter on the planet. Now, a lot of people have been saying obviously if Floyd Mayweather was to come back, would he be the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet? In my opinion, the perspective is no, because obviously it feels like Floyd Mayweather has deteriorated quite a bit from his long career. Obviously we saw his performance against Conor McGregor, where he had to walk down McGregor because of McGregor's longer reach. But I don't think he looked as good as he did in his past performances, despite the fact that McGregor was obviously bigger, younger, stronger. You're talking about McGregor, who's a fighter who's never fought at elite boxing in his life, and he still managed to take Mayweather. He still managed to win a few rounds against Mayweather. Obviously recently, Mayweather, like relatively recently, a few years ago, he did a spar Errol Spence, and Errol Spence did give him a black eye. So I feel like even if Mayweather was to come back into the sport, his position as being a top pound for pound fighter is out the window, because I think his time is just up, man. From now on, it's just gonna go downhill from here. Like he's not as young as he used to be, and his style, although it's not as although it's very technical and does rely on boxing, it does rely on athleticism and his ability to move around the ring. So yeah, I think he's retired at the right time, and I just hope he doesn't come back, because he's 50-0, and the level of elite opposition that he's beaten, despite what some people who dislike him will say, he's solidified his position as an all-time great, in my opinion. It's quite funny that Terence Crawford, in my opinion, is the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet, because he does have a very similar style to Floyd in that he has the ability to box, and he does have the ability to come forward. But I feel like Terence Crawford has a bit more of a killer instinct than Floyd has. You can see that in the Gamboa fight. He did obviously stop Gamboa. So yeah, this is a very interesting time to be in the sport. So yeah, that's my opinion on the sport, on who I think is the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. So yeah, just give me your perspective below. Like, just leave a comment below and just tell me what you think about this video. There is a lot of people that may disagree with my opinion. That's okay, but that's that. So yeah, just subscribe to the channel, and I've got more content coming your way. Thanks for your time. Peace out.